Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. This is it. Don't get scared now. I hope you brought something cold to drink, something salty to eat. And with all that said, let's dive into it right now. Crack open this delicious can of a caffeinated beverage that I will be consuming. That's what keeps me alive. How are you guys doing? Is it Saturday? It feels like Saturday. Been very busy. You don't even want to know what I was doing 10 minutes before we started this live show. I know that sounds weird. It's not as weird as it sounds. But without, you know what? Who cares? Let's just dive into your questions. So thank you guys so much for joining me once again. All right. So the first one comes from Josh Riviera. He says, "What's up, people?" Well, what's up, Josh? How's it going? I'll tell you what's up with me. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning, I need to get on a plane. I need to fly to Orlando, Florida. I'm going to Universal Studios. I had this cool sponsorship thing to do, so I'm looking forward to that. It involves Jurassic Park and dinosaur shoes. That's all I'm going to say, but look out for something along those lines. And while I'm there, I get to hang out and have some fun. But yeah, so I'm not going to sleep tonight, and I figured if I'm not going to go to sleep, you're not going to go to sleep, and we're going to stay up together and talk about movies all night and tell scary ghost stories under the blankets. Did anyone else ever do that? Okay, it's getting weird. Okay, let's go to the first one. It says, Brock Lohman. Hey, John. My boss told me to attach two pieces of wood together. I totally nailed it. Brock, thank you so much for that super chat and that delightful, insightful, profound thought. Thank you for sharing that. Screw you. Thanks, Brock. That's why I love doing these. You never fail to amaze me, people. I love it. Let's go to the next one if I can find it here, because I don't even know where I'm at right now. Matt Gray says, "Watch Suicide Squad. Based on your reaction, loved it. Wouldn't have bothered without seeing your review." Well, that's good, Brock. No, that was Brock nailed wood together. That comes from Matt. Yeah, Matt. Yeah, I liked Suicide Squad. I have a lot more to say about it. I was going to do a review, and time literally ran out in the last 2 days because I sort of randomly had to book a flight and then leave town tomorrow morning. But I did overall like the movie. The second act of the movie I was not a fan of. I thought the pacing just came to a sudden stop, and I get that they want to have character development and have more motivation for what the characters are doing. I understand those things, but something about the way they presented it, it just became boring, and Harley Quinn felt like she was an obligation in that movie. I'm sorry, like, Harley Quinn in that movie, I was just like, I like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She was the best thing about the 2016 Suicide Squad movie, but in this one, I was just like, I could have done without her. Now, I've heard that James Gunn, there was some kind of contractual obligation where he had to include Harley Quinn, which makes sense if that's the case, because she sort of felt like she was just shoehorned into the movie a little bit. And there's like a 10-minute sequence with Harley Quinn and some dude where I'm just like, you could have just cut that out of the entire movie and that would have been fine. Like, I could have done without that. That added nothing. And then also my biggest complaint was sort of the villains or the antagonists of the film. I thought they were all a little bit underwhelming, but those are my nitpicks with the movie. But overall, I really enjoyed the first and third act of the movie. But I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. The next one comes from Carter Lovejoy. My birthday is on Thursday. Well, happy early birthday to you. And that right there is the first sign of COVID, everyone. That's it. I'm done here. That was for you, Carter. That's a birthday sneeze just for you. Excuse me. I'm turning 21. Can I have an early birthday shout out? Also, I'm hoping to have my first drink. Any suggestions? Something sweet and not bitter or bittersweet. Get a sex on the beach, young man, and enjoy it. Think of me as you sip on that delicious drink. I think you'll have a good time, man. Well, happy birthday, Carter, and welcome to manhood. Now, if you want a man drink, I would do like a Crown and a Coke. That's what I would get. All right. Daniel Haku. Thanks for the super chat, Daniel. No question, but thanks nevertheless. Rando Commando 41. I just watched Nomadland. I think I'm depressed. Nomadland. Yeah, I watched Nomadland as well. I was like, I get what they're going for here. It is the most depressing, bleak movie I've ever seen. It's just like, I felt like it could have been summarized into like 30 minutes. It's like, I get it. Yeah, I completely get what they're doing with this. Now I do watch, one thing I watch a lot on YouTube is I watch van life videos where people like live in their van, they travel, and it looks so much more fun when they're doing it. When she was doing it, like working part-time at Amazon packing facilities, I was like, that looks like the most depressing thing ever. Like, the whole thing just looked utterly depressing. I was like, why don't you like go somewhere fun? Why don't you get out of like Nebraska and go to like a waterfall or something? Like, have some fun with your life. I don't know, but I agree with you. The next one comes from Daniel. Hey, John. Can't stick around, but I just saw Old, and I really loved the concept. But the execution was weak, and there were too many holes to poke it. It just left me feeling empty. At least Suicide Squad was good, despite the second act dragging. Absolutely, I agree. I did enjoy Old. I knew... usually when it comes to an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie, there's always going to be holes that you can poke into it, for the most part, sometimes not. And Old was definitely one of those movies, but I was pleasantly surprised because I was not expecting much. It was simplistic. I enjoyed it. I have a lot of critiques with it, absolutely. I do have one critique, and it's sort of one of those concepts where you just can't think too hard or else you're going to have more questions than answers. But my only complaint was, and this isn't really even a spoiler, because you guys know crazy things happen on this island that they go to. It's just once they get to the island, they have to walk through like sort of like a cliffside entranceway. I was a bit confused at why they thought that was blocked off. I was a bit confused why they legitimately thought it was blocked off. Like, it looked like it was sealed shut. I don't think that was ever truly explained, but that just... maybe it was. Maybe I went to the bathroom for those 3 minutes. I don't know. The next one comes from Brock Lohman. All right, serious question. I am watching Suicide Squad. My favorite character was Peacemaker because everything he did, I would do in that situation. What movie character do you share similar thoughts or actions with? Probably... I'm scared to say it out loud. Probably Thanos, maybe? Maybe Thanos? I'm sorry. I just... he had the right mentality. He's like, listen, there's too many people. We're overpopulated. You guys don't appreciate anything. I'll just get rid of half you. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just random selection. I'm like, I kind of like get it. You can't keep going this way. We're going to run out of fossil fuels in like 20 years. Natural resources are drying up every day. Pretty soon a bottle of water is going to cost $29.99. I'm just saying. His ideology I could understand. Okay? But also, in all seriousness, I do agree with Peacemaker. I don't care how many men, women, children I have to kill to get peace. I'm going to do it. If that's not America, I don't know what is. Yeah, John Cena, that was probably the best role I've ever seen of John Cena in his entire life. I really enjoyed it. And now we're getting a Peacemaker TV series, which could be good. I could dig that. Sort of like an evil, more brutal Captain America. It's like, why not? All right, let's go to the next one here. Joshua Garrison. Are you looking forward to Free Guy? Not really. I'm going to be honest, not really. I'm sort of like, it just looks like a movie with no substance. It just looks like there's no substance to that movie. It's like, here's the crazy movie with video game references, and he lives in a video game, like, reality. I'm like, it just looks like a movie that could have come out in 2010, and people would have forgot about it 2 weeks later, which is what I'm sort of expecting people to do with Free Guy. I like me some Ryan Reynolds, but the concept of this, we've sort of seen it before. Frank Grillo was just in a movie called like Boss Level, which is sort of somewhat similar sort of vibe of Free Guy. So will I check it out? Yeah. Am I looking forward to it? Not really. Linda Marina, is it Marana or why would it be Marana? It's not Linda Marina. Okay. Hey John, I'm watching you on my laptop while watching SpongeBob on my TV and my kitten is taking a nap. That sounds like a glorious Saturday night. Are you planning to get a new pet sometime soon? Probably not for a year or two when I can dedicate the time and energy to it. The thing is, if you get a dog that's a puppy, then you have to like deal with it being a puppy and like take it outside and potty train it. I'm just like, I can't deal with urine on my floor right now. But one day I will get around to it. I do want to get a dog at some point, maybe a year or two down the road. But yeah, I absolutely would love to get another dog. I just, sometimes at night you just want to hold it, embrace it, and just throw a twig and watch it go get it. But yes, one day I will. And thank you for the question. Douglas Armstrong. What movies you think will be out for November and December for the holiday season? Love Suicide Squad, solid 8 out of 10, laughed at Weasel and Shark. Shark was my favorite character in the entire movie. I was just a little let down that there wasn't one scene where he just freaked out and went berserker mode. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a few times where he rips people in half or eats their head, but I was like, I wanted to see him truly rampage for like 5 minutes straight. The same thing I always wanted to see with Hulk in the Avengers movies. I truly wanted to see him Hulk out, and it's like they always sort of like just hold back ever so slightly. I don't know why they do that. So anyway, November, so we have the new James Bond flick coming out, which I still in my head think it won't. We have Top Guns coming out, which I think they honestly probably should have moved up to a summer release date because things sort of went back to normal, or at least for a minute they did. Now I guess everything's falling apart again, but who cares? And then what else happened? The new Spider-Man movie is supposed to come out supposedly in like what, December? Which I have strong reservations that it's not going to. It's not an inside scoop. I just truly feel like that movie's not coming out in December. And if it is, Sony is waiting until the last possible second to release a trailer confirming such a thing, because I still think they're like, well, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Here's our guaranteed multi-billion-dollar movie. Let's release it when we know for a fact people are returning back to theaters in droves. So those are the big movies I kind of want to see in November and December. I can't really think of anything else. Jimmy Shoes TV. What a great name. Deadlifting freaks me out. I avoid them. I don't deadlift either. I used to deadlift like 2016. Listen, if you want to deadlift and that's all the power to. I think it definitely builds core. It builds strength. It's great. It's a great workout. If and only if you perfectly do it perfect every single time you ever do it. Because if you tweak one thing, if you're slightly off, you can twist something and you can break your shit real quick. And I have sciatic nerve issues that flare up from time to time, and it's from almost like doing nothing sometimes. And I almost blame it on the few times I did deadlift. So yeah, if you're really good at it, wear a belt, you're very precise, and you never mess up. But let's be honest, there's going to be a time where you don't quite do it perfectly as you should, and you will tweak something, you will pull something, and it's just a dangerous lift. So is it a necessary lift? I don't think so. I think there's other exercises you can do that are safer and beneficial, but people like to deadlift. Makes them feel strong and empowered. The next one comes from A-Train98. How do you like the beach scene in Suicide Squad? So that was like the first act of the movie. I was pleasantly surprised with what they did with that. I was like, thank God. Thank you for doing that. And that's why I sort of call the new Suicide Squad sort of a soft reboot, which I was happy with. I like the opening scene a lot more than the ending climax to the movie. I'm sorry, Starro, I know he's from the comics. I know what happens. But is that really what you wanted to see the Suicide Squad go up against? I guess for me it wasn't. The next one comes from Brooks Shannon. What are some of the most saddest movie death scenes to you? Oh, man. You know, it's odd, but when Patrick Swayze's character in the film Ghost dies, it sort of always makes me sad. I'm like, that's sort of sad, because Patrick Swayze sort of looked like my dad a little bit, and it's just like a weird connection there. Not quite, there's not really a death per se, but like it's sort of like a goodbye scene in Toy Story 3, where Andy has one last playtime with his toys and then drives off into the distance. So long, partner. Oh, talk about becoming an adult that day. Made me want to go back to being a child again instantly. Also, I would say Mufasa when he dies in Lion King. Not the live action, could care less. But the animated Mufasa when he dies, that also made me sad. Let's move on before we all start crying. But thank you for the question. James Dozier. Did you get my first super chat, John? James, let me scroll down and double make sure because I don't see it on here, buddy. I don't see it, James. I have a big list of things here and I don't see it. Oh, it says, here it is. James says, hey, John, my birthday is Monday. Well, happy early birthday to you. Didn't we already talk about this? Or did someone else? Carter had a birthday as well. Everyone's birthday. So anyway, happy birthday to you, James. And I was going to say something else with that. I don't know. And many more. Did anyone else get birthday spanks as a kid? Like by your weird uncle? He gave you like, if it was like your birthday and you were 9 years old, he gave you like 9 spankings. Is that a weird thing that just doesn't happen anymore? No one talks about birthday spankings. Maybe I just had a weird family. Let's keep going. All right. The next one comes from Azim the Dream Reviews. How's it going, Azim? John, are you vaccinated yet? Also, did you know that part of Jurassic World Dominion's plot will be parallel to what is going on in the world right now with the pandemic? So not only are they going to have a pandemic in Jurassic World, they're also going to have dinosaurs on the loose. Well, I mean, what else could you add to that scenario? That sounds cool. I dig it. I didn't get vaccinated yet. If someone were to come to my door and stick me with a needle, hopefully it's a clean needle, I would do it. Right now, I don't get flu vaccines either. It's not because I have some weird conspiracy theory. It's just because I can't willingly drive somewhere and get a shot that's going to make me have like a headache and make me feel achy with night sweats for a day or two. That just doesn't sound fun. And coincidentally, I've gotten the flu one time in the last 10 years. So, yeah, I just avoid people. I wash my hands. When you travel, you do have to wear a mask, which is fine. I work from home, so I don't know. It's not like I'm opposed to getting it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But to be honest with you, I'm not that concerned about it. So I don't know. That's just me. I take my zinc and my supplements. And I don't lick toilet seats. Daniel Haku says, you missed my question. Daniel, no, I didn't. I answered your question. Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, I answered. Keep in mind, guys, when I'm answering these questions, I'm probably like 10 minutes behind when you asked it. So, yeah, I didn't miss your question, Daniel. I answered it. Yeah, I answered that. Oh, no, I'm a liar, Daniel. Here's your question. Hey, John, big fan from the Netherlands. Finally been able to catch one of your live streams. Do you think Dune will be a success? No, I don't. Now, do I think I might enjoy the movie? Yes. Am I intrigued to watch the movie? Yes. Do I think it will be a box office success? No, I do not. And I don't think Dune has the name recognition that it needs. I think something about the tone and the bleakness of it. Now, I'm not sure on that. Now, I don't know the exact budget. It looks like an expensive movie, and it looks like a thinking man sci-fi film, which I enjoy. But do I think it'll be a box office super success? No, I do not. I just don't think it. First of all, it doesn't have the name recognition once again. When you watch the trailer, like if you're a casual movie goer, like I just don't think it's catering to that, and it doesn't like wow you. And some of the big names in the movie, like there's some big names, like don't get me wrong, but for like the casual viewing audience, depends. That's debatable. So I don't think it'll be that big of a box office success. I really don't. Also, Blade Runner 2049, wasn't that not a very big box office success? And that had name recognition. Like that had Harrison Ford. That had like everything going for it. So, and plus with everything happening right now, I don't think so. I really don't. It could be great though. And by the way, Brock, you asked a question earlier, and thank you for that very generous super chat, man. Thank you, Brock. Sorry, guys. Everything the notifications I'm getting are popping up very sporadically, so I will get to all the questions. They're just popping up at a very odd pace right now. I think something is wrong with. They're all showing up though. It's just they're popping up a little slow. Someone said, "Hell yes, John, stay on the dark side." Oh, I will be on the dark side. Okay, the next one comes from Unglitch, and he says, your thoughts on the Species movies, first two. Species, I don't remember anything about those movies. I vaguely remember what they were. I can almost remember the cover. Wasn't there a cover with a chick that had like her eye look like a cat's snake eye kind of deal? Am I right? I just remember the cover. I don't remember those movies, so I guess I wasn't a huge fan. I just always remember the covers from like Blockbuster back in like 1996. Lucas Bernaskowitz, is there a movie you watch where you cry every time? Like I said, Toy Story kind of gets me. Third Toy Story puts me in a weird, sad mood. Stand By Me always puts me in sort of like, not a sad mood, but just sort of like, life is going by so quick. Even movies, I just watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Any movie that sort of makes you think about life and the time and like moving on always sort of gives me an existential crisis. Like I watched Ferris Bueller yesterday on Netflix for the 98th time. And that movie it's like when you really watch it, it's not about Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is not about Ferris Bueller. It's about his best friend Cameron. That's what that movie's about. And it's about Ferris Bueller trying to save his best friend from living in a life of misery. And I appreciate it. I've always appreciated that about that movie. I don't know. That's just my take on it. Luis Javier Rubio. I feel like I mispronounced your name, Luis. I'm sorry, but thank you for the question, Luis. Now let's dive into it. Hey, Johnny. Have you seen the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer? If so, what do you think? I did see it. Hey, Mrs. Chan, what is this, a virus or something?
Eddie, you must listen to me, Eddie. Do as I tell you. He's big and red and scary.
Yeah, I did see it. So here's what I'm going to say about it. I know Andy Serkis is directing it, but at the same time, it looks exactly, stylistically speaking, as the first movie. And it looks sort of dull and by the numbers. Now, I'm judging this as a trailer, but for me, it looks exactly like the first movie, but with Carnage in it. So I think... I don't think it's going to be that great. I'm definitely intrigued to see it. I wish Nicolas Cage was playing Carnage, just my personal preference. I like me some Tom Hardy, but for me, Tom Hardy really doesn't feel like the character Eddie Brock. Just my thing, just putting it out there. I think Ryan Gosling would have made a good Eddie Brock. I could see that. So anyway, I'm curious to check it out, but it sort of just looks like the first Venom movie with Carnage instead of Riot, who was the sort of looked just like Venom in the first movie, who was the bad guy. And thank you for the question, Lewis. Very generous of you. Thank you. Alex Carr. Hey, John. I just watched The Suicide Squad on HBO Max last night, and I'll say this. It's everything the 2016 film was not. Yeah, I mean, the editing was better. You sort of actually gave a shit about the characters. The characters overall were way better. Idris Elba I'm sorry, he's an upgrade over Will Smith, in my opinion. I just found it interesting that they had Bloodsport, who's essentially the same character as Deadshot. I mean, in every way, he is the same character. He even has the same backstory and like family dynamic with his daughter issues. I'm like, this is like the same fucking character. Why? Okay, so anyway, but Idris Elba, I honestly enjoy him over Will Smith. I loved King Shark. I liked Polka Dot Man. I thought he was actually a standout in the movie. He was a character like no one gives a shit about, but somehow the movie made you give a shit. So that's a thumbs up on the movie's part. So yeah, I really did enjoy it. I thought there was a lot of things they could have twisted and turned. As my good pal said, and speaking of good pals, Patrick John, as Patrick John put it, who's watching right now, I liked what you said, Patrick. You said it's basically what'd you say? It's like Guardians of the Galaxy meets The Boys. And I think that's a good way to sum up Suicide Squad. Except I would say Guardians of the Galaxy had a better screenplay. I honestly would say that. All right, let's keep going here. A-Train 98. John, how would the flick pick be a superhero? How would the flick pick be a superhero? I don't know if I'd be a super. I think honestly, I would be the best representation of a superhero for me would probably be like Peacemaker. You know, essentially, I would be. I think Peacemaker. If I was a superhero, it would be Peacemaker. Like I had the right intentions, but the ends will justify the means. Sorry to say. Except I'd have a cooler helmet and a cooler outfit. But yeah, definitely Peacemaker. By the way, if they make a new Predator movie and they don't put John Cena in it, what a detriment. I was just watching Predator last night, and sometimes I watch Predator because it takes me to a happy place when I fall asleep, and I was just watching it, and they have all these stereotypical tough guys. I'm just like, John Cena would be a good guy to have in this ensemble if you ever made like a new Predator movie. Like have John Cena, have The Rock, definitely bring back Arnold for like a cameo or like a small role or whatever he wants to do, bring him back. But I just would love to see that. But they'll never do that. They'll never make another good Predator movie, no matter how hard they try. All right, let's go to the next one here. Brevin's Flicks and Games. Accept a video of Spider-Man and James Gunn's Suicide Squad sometime this week on my channel. Long story short, it's great. I'm confused what you were talking about there, Brevin. Hang on. Accept. I don't know what you're talking about there, Brevin, but nevertheless, Brevin does have a YouTube channel called Brevin's Flicks and Games. Check him out. Small YouTuber, nice guy, always joins the live streams. So I think you're going to do a Spider-Man. Oh, didn't you say something about doing a Spider-Man series last time? Reviewing all of the movies? All right, Patrick John. How's it going, buddy? Hey, John. How are you, man? I'm doing well. Just won't be sleeping tonight. Figured I'd hang out with you guys, do a live stream, getting on a plane in like 7 hours. I'm doing well, though. I can't stay long. Gotta work in a half hour. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. I've been so busy, so my uncle is unable to join every stream. Why did I just say your uncle? I need to learn how to read. I've been so busy, I am unable to join every stream. Anyway, what do you think of the new Stranger Things stuff? When I read, I swear letters just blend together, and no, I am not dyslexic. So anyway, I did not watch the new Stranger Things trailer. I did not watch it. I don't want to. I just will watch it when it comes out or until I'm forced to watch the new trailer. And I'm sure like I'll be cruising YouTube one day watching a video about like I don't know, yard sales or something, and then I'll see the Stranger Things trailer play before, and I'm like, oh, I watched it. But to go out of my way to watch it, I won't. I'm excited to watch I love me some Stranger Things. I actually thought the third season was overall my favorite. But yeah, I have not seen it, so I don't know much about it yet. Jeremy Cattle. Hey, John. I saw your comment on Ice 9 Kills video about American Psycho. Are you going to watch their new video, Chucky, on August 9th? I'll probably check it out. Absolutely. Why not? I'm intrigued. Yeah, they had a really cool music video where it's essentially, if I could make a music video, it would just be a parody to American Psycho. I mean, anything I do would be a parody to American Psycho. So, no, I haven't seen it yet. Or I will watch it, but yeah, sounds cool. Potted Plant Entertainment. Would you want a gremlin? Thoughts on the movie? I mean, as long as you don't get it wet, I think everything would be great. But I know me. I'd be like, I want to see what happens. Pour a little water on it around midnight. Just, yeah, I'd like a little gizmo. Put a little gizmo in your sock drawer. Never know what's going to happen. Luis Cortez says, what's your favorite ninja movie? I mean, probably Batman Begins, The League of Shadows. I'd say that's a really good origin story for a ninja. Also, on a quick side note, I will say Three Ninjas as a child was one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, little Tum Tum, Rocky, Colt. I always wanted to be the Blue Ninja. And yeah, I just loved that. I love that movie where they're like throwing CDs at the bad guys. So good. So good. Patty I says, John, who are your favorite live action? John, who are your favorite live action Batmans? I think. Also, what's your expectation for Pattinson as Batman? So, favorite live action Batman is definitely going to be Affleck, Bale, and Keaton. The physicality aspect was Ben Affleck was always my favorite, physically speaking, because he was like the truest representation of Batman we ever had. Basically, like 6'4". Batman was like 6'2" in the comics, but he had the strength that truly looked like Batman for me. And I was like, give me that solo Batflick movie, and we never got it. So anyway, as far as Pattinson as Batman, I'm looking forward to that, like the detective film noir vibe of it. I think Robert Pattinson's a great actor. I do think he is. Is he a great Batman? We'll see. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. Just give me that detective film noir vibe for a few Batman movies, and then go back to something more bombastic and spectacular for Batman, and that's fine by me. Neil Childs. Just watched Requiem for a Dream, and the movie was an experience. Ellen Burstyn was robbed for the Oscar. Ellen Burstyn? I feel like I'm saying her last name wrong. Ellen Burstyn. I just think of Jennifer Connelly every time I think of Requiem for a Dream. That scene was intense. And also, every time I think of Requiem for a Dream, I think of Marlon Wayans puking mashed potatoes. And that ruined mashed potatoes for me for a long time. So, yeah, Requiem for a Dream will definitely make you not want to do drugs. That's every high school should show that movie. Oh, you're talking Ellen Burstyn. She was the old lady with shock treatment, wasn't she? Or am I making that completely up? She's the one who got shock treatment in the movie, right? Yeah. Maybe it wasn't. I think it was, though. James Dozier says, favorite childhood movies? For me, it's The Land Before Time and The Sandlot. Land Before Time, Littlefoot. Yeah, I always remember that. The Sandlot would probably be more of my preference. I was a weird kid. So, yeah, absolutely The Sandlot. Home Alone, but I was a weirdo. So, when I was a kid, I was watching, the 1970s The Warriors. I was watching Point Break. I was watching, Drop Dead Fred. What else did I watch as a kid? I know there was... Sword in the Stone was probably my favorite animated Disney movie as a kid. I always remember really enjoying Merlin the Wizard and wanting to be the kid in that movie and go off on an adventure, and he turns me into a squirrel and a fish. That would be great. I still have fantasies about that. So if anyone's a wizard watching, please turn me into a fish. That'd be great. But yeah, those would be a few of my favorite childhood movies. WTM says, what are your thoughts on the 1998 film, The Faculty? I remember seeing The Faculty in theaters. I believe that came out around the same time. And I could be wrong. I feel like Saving Private Ryan, and there was like another movie out at the same time as that. Maybe Varsity Blues. I could be wrong. I just remember like all three of those movies in the theater around the same time. But I really enjoyed The Faculty is like a sort of an underrated movie in my opinion. Like it doesn't try to do too much. It's simple. It's like a high school sort of horror themed movie. It's got Elijah Wood in it. It's got what's his face, who was supposed to be the next big thing in Hollywood, but sort of just disappeared. Josh Harnett or whatever his name was. I really enjoyed that movie. That's fun. Also has the T-1000 Robert Patrick in it. It's a fun movie. If you've never seen The Faculty, definitely check it out. I remember them snorting things out of like pins. Like they had a pin that had like white substance in it and they snorted it. That was, good times. What else? Where am I? The next one comes from Joshua Garrison. Hey, John, did you watch The Green Knight? I thought it was confusing as crap. Lewis is killing it. Lewis, I'm going to get to your questions, buddy. I did not see The Green Knight yet. I was going to see it last week, and I don't remember what happened, but I'm definitely going to check it out. I've heard mixed things, but the things, like the complaints I've heard about it are things I just assumed from an A24 film. So it's sort of the same complaints from the people who went to see the movie Drive back in 2011. And they're like, oh, I think this is going to be like a Fast and Furious movie. And it wasn't. So I'm looking forward to it. I just haven't got around to seeing it. And I still want to watch Pig with Nicolas Cage. And I think it's on VOD now, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to definitely check that out soon. Ryman 6000. Do you think that we won't get a new Star Wars movie for a while with the success of the TV shows? I can't wait for the book of Boba. I can't wait for the book of Boba show. Did I say Boba? Boba? Boba Fett, yeah. I feel like I said that really weird. I gotta say Boba. Better watch that lip, boy. Get a caught on a tripwire. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, as far as the new Star Wars movies, the last one was a complete disaster to me, so I'm in no rush to see a new Star Wars movie unless they can truly do it right. Hand it to a talented writer, a talented filmmaker, get the producers and everyone involved in the past 3 movies, get them the fuck out of there, and let's go a different direction. And that direction should be, let Jon Favreau direct it, write it, do whatever, produce it, because he knows what he's doing with The Mandalorian. So give me something along those lines. So when it comes to Star Wars, just keep giving me Star Wars shows, because that seems like they're getting those right. The movies, not so much so, but I'm hoping that the series influence the movies to be better. And if for nothing else, just give me more episodes of Mandalorian. I will be content. Really looking forward to the new Obi-Wan show as well. So, Alex Strauss, do you remember the movie Slither, directed by James Gunn? I watched it recently and it gives me the creeps. Laugh out loud. I remember watching Slither on like DVD or something a long time ago, and I almost remember nothing about it. And it wasn't until like maybe a couple weeks ago when I was talking about Suicide Squad with some people that I even remembered the movie existed, and let alone remember that James Gunn directed it until that conversation. So I would like to go back and revisit it. Sometimes I enjoy movies like a simple premise. James Doshier says, thoughts on the 2 Ghost Rider movies with Nick Cage? Okay, we're gonna go there. Okay. They're both truly terrible movies. What is that, a shark or something? Like, what the fuck, Nick Cage? Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I couldn't believe it was made. It looked awful. Everything about it, the script, the way it looked, it was filmed. It was directed by the same guys who directed Crank, I believe. I hated that movie. It felt like a waste of Nicolas Cage. I hate both of those movies. They're truly awful movies. But with all that said, you could make a good Ghost Rider movie with Nicolas Cage. I'm surprised they're not making... now, the rumor going around was like the next Ghost Rider movie would star Keanu Reeves, which would be phenomenal. He would make a great Johnny Blaze. Plus, the dude already likes to ride motorcycles in his real life, so that's what I would like to see. But the two previous Ghost Rider movies were just garbage. Michael Pacheco. I always say your name wrong. Michael Pacheco? Michael Pacheco. All right, John, please watch The Boy Behind the Door. It has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes and is one of the best horror movies released in recent memories. I've heard good things about it. I have not seen it yet. There's a lot of horror films I've not kept up on lately, but I've heard good things about that. The Boy Behind the Door. I'll write it. Do I have a pen? I'm going to write it down right now, Michael. I have a pen, but I don't have a piece of paper. But I will remember it. Yeah. Daniel Haku says, all-time favorite movie score, mine is Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. Some good picks, some very good picks. Favorite film scores for me, I mean, usually Zimmer always gives me those feels. Like, I don't love Interstellar. I could talk about Interstellar and some of my issues with the film. But with all that said, I think the score to Interstellar is phenomenal. It relaxes me. It takes me on a journey mentally. Sometimes when I listen to it when I'm driving at night, I just think about my entire life and where I'm going. And then I end up at like some gas station at 3 o'clock in the morning buying Sour Patch Kids and an energy drink. And I think I should have done more with my life. But with all that said, great score. Also, all of the Dark Knight films, great scores, truly motivating. I like scores that inspire you and motivate you, like, you know, just things like that you can drive to it, you know, like the Gladiator score, soundtrack. I love it. I'm trying to think. There's a few random films that have great scores I really enjoy. I always forget. Also, you know, an underrated score by Zimmer is To Broken Arrow. That has a great score as well. The next one comes from Carter Lovejoy. What piece of upcoming Star Wars content are you excited for? Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, definitely Obi-Wan. I'm excited for the Boba Fett show, but I'm personally excited for Visions, the anime anthology series similar to the Animatrix. I know nothing about Visions. The Boba Fett show, I'm excited to check out, definitely. But probably more excited for the Obi-Wan show, honestly. You can't go wrong with Ewan McGregor unless you put him in Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. But with that said, I definitely am excited for that more so than anything. And plus, Hayden Christensen coming back as like Darth Vader, like, okay, that intrigues me. It might terrify some people, but I'm excited to see it. Night King 01 says, I don't know why I know this, but the guy put a bomb into Michael Rooker and John Alstander, the creator of the modern Suicide Squad. Oh, that's cool. So that's a good, like, little, okay, that's a cool tidbit. It took me a minute to comprehend what I just read. Okay, so they have the original creator of Suicide Squad have, like, a small cameo in the movie. That's cool. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, Michael Rooker in that film, part of me thought he would do more. But I'll just leave it there. All right, the next one comes from Luis Javier Rubio. I know I said it wrong probably. Hey, Johnny, Funk Man, and just call me Rubio if you want. I'll call you Rubio. You rude crude bag of pre-food chew, dude. Rubio. There you go. All right. Have you heard the actor playing Miguel Diaz in Cobra Kai is in talks to play Blue Beetle? I have heard that, Lewis. Or Rubio. I did hear that. I don't know much about Blue Beetle. I looked Blue Beetle up a long time ago on Wikipedia just to figure out who the hell he was and what he did. And I know he was like created originally in the 1940s. There's two incarnations of him. The newer one was like his dad's a police officer and something. So I think they're definitely going that route. Because I think that takes place in like Texas, and I could see like the kid from Cobra Kai like looking like a kid from Texas. So yeah, I don't know like Blue Beetle's powers or anything, but I think it's a good casting choice based on like what he kind of looked like in the comics from the new adaptation of Blue Beetle. Greg Z says, and thank you for the question, Rubio. Greg Z says, enjoy your streams, John. Have you seen the 1994 John Waters movie, Serial Mom? Kathleen Turner plays the perfect mom, housewife, who's also a serial killer. Why do I feel like I have seen that? Also, didn't John Waters direct... I might be mistaken. Didn't he direct Pink Flamingos? That was a really fucked up movie. I sort of remember like my sister showing me that on beta tape back in the 90s. Anyway, that explains what's wrong with me. What is it called? Serial Mom. I feel like maybe I did. Maybe I have seen that. If I watched like a clip of it, I'd probably be like, oh yeah, I saw that on like HBO back in 1996 or something. Mike's Spoon. I recently found this artist named Poppy who released an album named I Disagree. It's a hard rock album. It may not sound like it, but it's so badass to listen to in the gym. Highly recommend. What's it called? It's called I Disagree. The album's called I Disagree. Okay, I'll look into it, man. I'm all about like hard rock and metal music in the gym. I'm always looking for something good. I'm a huge fan of like screamo metal music. I love it. Like, nothing pumps me up more in the gym other than the Hans Zimmer music than like screamo music. I don't know what it is. It just takes me back to like 2005. Aiden Miles says, John, can you give my mate Giuliano Capita a shout out in your Mark Wahlberg voice? Thank you so much. Is it Giuliano? Is it Giuliano? You guys know I can't read. Hey, Giuliana, what are you doing over there? Why don't you come here and say hi to your mother for me? I don't know. Is that good enough? But thanks for the question. The next one comes from Rubio once again. Have you heard of the very promising rumors that CM Punk is re-debuting his wrestling career on AEW, and what do you think of AEW? I've been to an AEW show like a couple years ago when I lived in Alabama. It was good. I'm just something about the vibe of it and the production quality, though it's good. I just like the look of WWE more. Not recently, but more of a WWE guy, more of a WWF guy, to be honest with you. But yeah, CM Punk, I don't know. I heard he's coming back into like he's coming back as maybe an announcer, or not actually in to the degree of like actually wrestling anytime soon. So I always liked him. I loved his pipe bomb promo he did on WWE years ago. I thought that was great. So I'm not holding my breath, to be honest, either way. But yeah, I haven't really kept up on wrestling. Like, I watched like WrestleMania and not much else for like the last year. So it's just so bad. It's just gotten so bad. Sammy Ba has become a member. Yay! Thanks, Sammy. Hope to see you around, man. And by the way, if you guys are members or Patreon supporters, I posted a brand new exclusive video giving you guys sort of an updated video, sort of a Flit Cave tour of like what I'm going to do with the new Flit Cave. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out now. And if you did, thanks. Brad says, United 93 is a movie I always get emotional at. Yeah, I remember seeing United 93, like back when it first came out. Some very interesting conspiracy theories on United 93 as well. Okay, the next one. Mike Spoon has another question here. I don't know why your name, Mike, makes me laugh. I don't know why. Mike Spoon. That's a great name. Not as good as like Tom Fork, though. But okay, let's answer the question. Hey, John, you sexy beast. Well, thank you for that. I just rewatched Phase 1 of the MCU last week, and it was such a nice refresher to look at how things started for the MCU. Kind of miss those days, to be honest. What's your favorite Phase 1 film? Mine would be The Avengers. Yeah, it's hard. I'm hard-pressed not to say. That was the completion of Phase 1, wasn't it? The Avengers 2012. I think the first Captain America is underrated, in my opinion. I actually like the first Captain America a lot. But I think the Avengers, honestly, minus Captain America's suit in the Avengers, I would say the first Avengers film is probably my favorite as well. At least the most rewatchable. Also, the first Iron Man always has sort of a special place in my heart. But I would probably agree with you, the first Avengers. Just JDD24 says, hey, John, Sharon Stone in Casino or Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street? Oh, God. You want to be my friend? Oh, God. Probably Margot Robbie, Wolf of Wall Street. But Sharon Stone in, like, the first half of Casino before she goes crazy. Probably Margot Robbie. Let's go to the next one. Chess Giles says, hey, John, it's my everyone's birthday's today. Hey, John, it's my birthday, and my son just farted on me. Please tell Cody he's a piece of shit and give us your thoughts on the guest. Shout out you, by the way. Shout out you, by the way. Well, thank you, and happy birthday. Happy birthday, Chess. And that was a great question. It went so many different directions. That was great. Thoughts on the guest? I liked the guest. Saw it once. It sort of felt like someone was a huge fan of Ryan Gosling in Drive, and they're like, I sort of want to make a horror film, but we can't quite afford Ryan Gosling, so we'll get a guy who looks sort of just like him, and we'll film it like a film noir vibe, like Drive was. But once again, it'll be a slightly different movie. That's what it felt like. I did enjoy it, though. I'm still like thinking about your son farting on you. Sorry. Jimmy Shoes TV says, do you stand and wipe or sit and wipe? You got to sit and wipe. You got to lean to the left and you got to wipe front to back. Remember those words. And get wet wipes. Best investment you'll ever make. Think about it. I want you guys, let's be real, okay? Toilet paper does not clean. It's not cleansing. Think about, you know how I think about toilet paper? I'll break it down for you. If you were to go outside and get mud on your hands, would you take a dry paper cloth and wipe off your hands and be like, they're clean now? No, they're not. You need water. You need moisture. That's how you clean. Let's go to the next question. And don't say I never gave you anything, okay? Mike Spoon says, thank you so much, John. Thank you so much for these live streams, man. You're welcome. I've been quarantined this past week, and these streams have helped me through the down days. You really have been like a long lost brother I've always wanted. Well, thank you for those insightful words, man. That means that's always been my motto when it comes to YouTube. In all seriousness, that's how I've always wanted to. That has been my goal. I don't want to be a dude telling you things. I want to be a dude talking to you on the internet. And I know we can't actually talk back and forth on the live streams. We sort of can. But yeah, that's the vibe I've always wanted to give. So thank you. That does mean a lot, man. And where are you located, Mike? Where's your lockdown at? I have a feeling we're probably going to have a few more lockdowns soon. Hopefully not too soon because I have to get on a plane tomorrow. But I'm not afraid. Michael Parton says, I'm shocked about Suicide Squad's box office. Apparently it's a bit lower than Birds of Prey. I hope it makes enough money to break even because I want to see a Gotham City Sirens movie. I don't want to see that movie. No offense, but yeah, I'm not that surprised it's not doing that well. I mean, when you release a movie essentially on a streaming service that you can watch for free or pay like $9 to watch it, of course the box office is going to suffer because of such a thing. Not only that, can you watch it on a streaming service if you're an upstanding citizen who wants to pay your $9 for the HBO Max subscription fee, but if you're going to rip the movie on a torrent site, well, there's an HD version available very easily to watch. So it's almost like one of those things. Of course, the box office numbers are going to suffer, not only because of that, because of everything going on. So yeah, and I honestly think Birds of Prey kind of almost was a detriment to the character of Harley Quinn and all the hype she had as a character. I don't feel like Birds of Prey really elevated that character much in as far as like people's mindsets go for the most part. So at least for me, it didn't. Because after that movie, I was like, oh, I could use a little less Harley Quinn in the future. But yeah, thank you for the question. Joshua Garrison says, do you do any reading, John? As far as like novels go, no, not in a long time. Usually, the most of the reading I do is I read a lot of like articles or reports, like PDF reports I find and like, on topics I'm interested in. The one thing I don't like to do a lot of reading of is fiction. I don't know why. Fiction just it no longer intrigues me to read fiction. Like I will watch movies. I will watch fictional films about made up stories and make believe. That's great. But something about reading a fictional novel, I don't know why. I like to read things nonfiction. I like to read things with factual info in them. I feel like I'm actually learning something from said things. But yeah, I haven't really read a novel or anything in a long time. Global Film Review says, have you seen Synecdoche, New York by Charlie Kaufman? I love all three movies that he's directed. I would say, what was the one? Why can't I not remember what it's called? Nicolas Cage movie. I forget. Not Magnolia. Someone remind me what it's called. So anyway, I did see Synecdoche in New York. I think like when was that? Like 10 years ago or something. I know the other YouTuber YMS. It's like his favorite movie of all time. I watched his video breaking it down. I was like, I get it. Definitely not my favorite movie, but I think it's good. I just not like a rewatchable movie for me by any means. Adaptation, yes, thank you. Yes, I would say that's like, I say that's probably my favorite movie that he's done. Michael Barton says, I hope James Gunn makes more projects with DC besides Peacemaker. That's a possibility. I think he could do that. I think I read an article where he said, James Gunn said, if he couldn't get Suicide Squad, he was interested in directing a new Batman movie or something along those lines. And I don't know if Batman's the right character for James Gunn. I think if you're going to pick any DC property, I think Suicide Squad's definitely the one that would be best suited for him. But I'd like to see him direct something else. It just has to be the right tone for James Gunn. So Ryan Hicks says, what other movies would you like to see covered on Netflix Movies That Made Us series? By the way, great series. If you haven't watched the Movies That Made Us on Netflix, just go watch it right now. Such a good show, especially if you're a hardcore movie fanatic. I'm trying to think. They've covered a majority of like the bigger movies I can think of. I feel like they've covered most of them. I'm trying to think of like something they haven't covered. Maybe, I don't think they covered Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That would be kind of cool. Maybe like Aliens, or just more like James Cameron movies would be good. I'm trying to think of like another spectacle movie they could. They've covered a lot of movies that I give a shit about. I would like to see a T2 Judgment Day one or something. I don't know. What movies would you guys like to see on the Movies That Made Us that haven't been covered yet? I'm trying to think. Like, they even had Home Alone. I mean, they did Jurassic Park. I'd have to think on that. I think Star Wars, didn't they do Star Wars, or am I making that up? If they didn't do Star Wars, that seems like an obvious choice. Yeah, Titanic, another James Cameron flick. Yeah. Someone said The Exorcist would be good. Like maybe The Matrix would be a good one, maybe. The next one comes from Mike's Spoon, Mike Spoon. I always say Mike's Spoon. I like to make you have ownership of said spoon. But Mike Spoon says, "I'm not sure if you know already, John, but sad news. The last day Nightcrawler will be on Netflix is August 9th. Guess I'll have to start popping in the Blu-ray for soon. Were you aware of this news? By the way, do you own the Blu-ray steelbook of it? I do not own the steelbook of Nightcrawler. I do obviously own the Blu-ray, which I wish they put it on 4K. James Gunn's Shazam. Yeah, that would be a good James Gunn movie. Shazam. That would be a damn good one. I did not know it was leaving, Nightcrawler was leaving Netflix August 9th. Well, that sucks, but if you guys haven't seen Nightcrawler, I've seen Nightcrawler probably 48 times, but if you've never seen Nightcrawler, go watch it on Netflix right now. My favorite movie ever made. Steady hands. Chandler Bing says, thoughts on True Romance. I freaking love it. I like True Romance. I think it's on Amazon Prime right now. I just recently watched it like a month or two ago. The thing about the movie is it's definitely not one of my favorite Tarantino written screenplays. And it's a bizarre movie. And the thing when you watch the romance in the film, it's anything but true. I actually don't like either of the characters in True Romance. I really don't. It has the same thing. There's a lot of romance movies, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where they have like this romance theme to them, but I don't give a shit about either person in the movie. Thus, I don't care about their romance. That's always been the detriment for me in like a lot of love. What's another movie? What was the Lady Gaga movie that came out with Bradley Cooper? Whatever the fuck that was called. I hated that movie. I was like, I don't like either of these people. I don't give a shit what they do. I don't care if a tree falls on them at the same time. Good. They're both toxic people and I want them to die. So back to True Romance. I do like that he works in like a comic book store. I like that the movie gets bizarre. I like Christopher Walken in the movie. Listen here, Christian Slater, your mother, but A Star is Born. Yuck. So anyway, True Romance, I do like it. When you watch the movie, keep this in mind. Tarantino said when he wrote that screenplay, he had like never made love to a woman at the time, and it kind of shows in the screenplay because he thought that's like how relationships work, which is interesting. When you watch the movie with that knowledge, it kind of changes it just a little bit. Best love stories, Titanic, hands down. Yeah, yes, sure. I had a really good joke, but I'm not going to. Where to, miss? To the stars. All right. Argal says, hey, Johnny Flick, you watch Better Watch Out on Amazon. Do it now. I will do it. I'm probably going to do it in the next week or two. It's actually been on my to-do list. I think it's on my Amazon like movies to watch list. If that's a thing, I think it's on there. But I will. Yeah. I will do it maybe next week. This is a busy week coming up. Dennis Hopper's monologue is brilliant. Yeah, I agree. The Dennis Hopper scene in True Romance is like the best scene in the whole movie. Thoughts on Clerks 3? Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I just have reservations. I love me some Kevin Smith. I love me some Clerks. But based on the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, I don't know, man. It's getting a little slightly self-indulgent. Max Nugenbauer says, all 4 Avengers are my top 4 favorite MCU films. That's cool, Max. I was not a fan of I like Age of Ultron, but it's definitely not in my top 4 MCU movies by any means. I could definitely put Endgame and Infinity War in there side by side. I don't care what anyone says about Endgame. I fucking love it. I think Captain America Winter Soldier is definitely in there. I think Thor Ragnarok's definitely in my... I'd say Thor Ragnarok is in my top 4. It's so easy to rewatch that movie. So easy. Joshua Garrison says, favorite 90s Nickelodeon show? That's a great question. I was actually just thinking about that the other day. That's what I do. I think about my favorite Nickelodeon shows from the 90s. So I would say Doug is definitely one of them. I would also say, when I was a kid, Ren and Stimpy always freaked me out. Another one that no one talks about was with the show that took, what was it, Camp Sean? I had Sputnik in it, the redhead kid from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. What was that called? Camp something? Someone remind me what that was. Anyway, I liked that show with Donkey Lips. Also, I like Truth or Dare. I liked that show. I'd say those are a few of my favorite Nickelodeon shows. Yeah. Just JDD24 says, worst white collar crime movie. The worst white collar. Shoot, man. That's a tough. That worst white collar crime movie? I don't know. Probably one starring John Travolta. I'm sure that some are out there. I don't know. He was in that Mafia movie that was really bad. That was based on a true. But that's not really a white collar criminal. I don't know the worst white collar criminal movie. You could have asked me the best. Like, I think Wolf of Wall Street's a damn good white collar criminal movie. Salute your shorts. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Camp wanna makes you wanna fart. Get it right or pay the price, Sputnik. Yeah. Rocco's Modern Life. Oh, yeah. Rocco's Modern Life.
Hello, Rocco. It's Mr. and Mrs. Bighead. Oh, Rocco.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. Someone said Nolan is too long-winded for his own good. He didn't used to be. He didn't used to be. The next one comes from Stephanie Myers. How's it going, Stephanie? In your opinion, who is an overrated director? Who is an underrated director? Thanks for the live streams. That's a great... I think Matthew Vaughn is sort of underrated. And I wish he would get more opportunities, like with bigger scale budgeted movies, because he directed like Kick-Ass, X-Men Days of Future, or X-Men First Class, Layer Cake. And I would like to see him direct something else. I remember for a while he was attached to direct a possible Superman sequel movie, which I thought would have been really cool. But I think Matthew Vaughn's sort of underrated as a director. Someone overrated as a director? Oh, God, where do you start with that lineup? Holy shit. Oh, God, overrated. I'm trying. There's some directors that I think make like they have a few good movies on their filmography, but there's some directors where people love them, and I don't really love any of their films. Yeah, I'm not gonna say an overrated director. I'm not gonna say that. But I will say Spielberg as a director is not the same to me as he once was. Anytime a Spielberg movie's coming out, like I used to be I'm like, how can it be bad? But now I'm like, well, it could be anything at this point, which is really unfortunate when you think about it. So yeah, I have not really loved a Spielberg movie in a long time. So I don't know I don't know if it's him or screenplays or just something. I don't know. I wish he would go back to what made him one of my favorite directors, but it's just something's been lacking in his last like 8 films. I just, none of them really connected with me. Someone said Jordan Peele's overrated. Someone said Michael Bay. I don't think anyone ever considered Michael Bay that great. Don't get me wrong. Michael Bay is Michael. Lately, he just doesn't give a shit. You can just tell Michael Bay's like, hey, this movie, I have a $300 million budget. I don't give a shit. Let's blow some stuff up. I'll take a bath in this money later. Someone said, yeah, Spielberg lost his magic touch. He sort of did. At least for me, he did. And Michael Mann is another guy Michael Mann has directed some great movies. Collateral, Heat, some of my favorite movies of all time. But what was the last great Michael Mann movie? Ridley Scott, another great director. What was the last Ridley Scott movie that you really loved? I mean, somebody might say Prometheus or something, but I'm going to say like Gladiator. Patty Eyes says, favorite live action Spider-Man. That's a tough thing for me to say because there isn't one Spider-Man movie I truly love. I know most people say like Spider-Man 2. I get it. But there's just things about that movie I don't necessarily love. Doc Ock, I didn't love it. I think Doc Ock in the movie is sort of a boring villain. I really do. He's like running around with like his flabby chest. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Spider-Man Homecoming, I thought like at least got the teenage vibe of Spider-Man right, but they try to like make it too much like here's a young Iron Man Jr. movie. Like there was a little too much emphasis on like an influence from Iron Man in that movie. So that was the problem with that. So yeah, there's little bits and pieces of all the Spider-Man movies I love. I just don't love them as a whole. Like I love the final sequence in the first Spider-Man movie with the Green Goblin. Like that is a brutal final fight. Like Spider-Man's tattered and torn and bloody, and then you see the Green Goblin kill himself with his own glider. I thought that was good shit. Don't tell Harry. Like that's great. I want more of that. So, but I don't really love any of the Spider-Man movies, which is unfortunate. And he said live action. I know people say Into the Spider-Verse is the best one, but he said live action. All right, the next one comes from Alcatraz. Hey, John, what do you think of Black Swan? I just watched it for the first time today. I mean, there's a great scene with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis in there. I haven't seen the movie since it came out. Directed by Darren Aronofsky. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it though. Like when it comes to like Aronofsky movies, I much prefer like The Wrestler, which is a phenomenal movie. I think it's his best movie he's ever directed. Some people might really enjoy Requiem for a Dream, but I think The Wrestler's his most rewatchable movie. It certainly was not Noah. Let's just be honest there. Also, there was a rumor flying around for a long time that Darren Aronofsky wanted to direct the new RoboCop movie years ago, and I thought that would have been really interesting. Someone says The Martian was the last best Ridley Scott movie. I agree. The Martian was probably like his last like good movie. Yeah. Someone said J.J. Abrams is overrated. Okay, so if Netflix right now has the first Star Trek film on there from J.J. Abrams. I love that movie. I don't care what anyone says. I will defend that movie. I like it. But yeah, J.J. Abrams he's kind of hit and miss as well. I do agree with that. Scarly says, if you got mud on your hand, just water alone wouldn't do anything. You still would have bacteria on your hands. Therefore, using toilet paper is no different. Love you, man. I think you missed the point. But yes. But at least you could use the water to cleanse it off more so than just dry paper, right? Have you ever cleaned anything ever with just dry paper? Let me clean this wall. I'll just use dry paper. Oh, let me clean my car. Do you take a dry rag and just clean your car? No. Soap and water is the way. This is the way. Billy McMichael says, Halloween 2018 blows. Pass it on. I did pass it on. Watch my review of Halloween 2018. I did pass it on. People got angry. But I'm just like, I don't care. Some people love things that have characters from a better movie in them, and they feel like they're obligated to love it because they like that previous installment containing that character, and I get it. I love the first Halloween film. I think it's a beautiful, perfect movie. But just because Michael Myers is in the new Halloween film, it doesn't mean it's good. So I wasn't a fan of it. I hated it. Hagulera 1723 says, hey, John, are you a fan of any Wes Anderson films? Okay. None of his films are like my favorite movies of all time. There's a few that I always forget exist that he directed. He definitely has his own like unique genre of film. Let's see. Rushmore. I liked the concept behind Rushmore. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times. Royal Tenenbaums is probably overall, I would say, my favorite that he's directed. I did not like the Fantastic Mr. Fox. Let's see. I remember watching Bottle Rock. I rented that from a video store years ago. Like when I was young, I watched that. It's okay. The Grand Budapest Hotel, I've seen it once. A lot of his movies are just like one-watch movies to me. More of a fan of Paul Thomas Anderson. And by the way, thanks to all 355 of you watching right now. Thank you guys. All right, let's keep going here. Don Bruno. How's it going, Don Bruno? Hey, my boy, Johnny Flicks finally found a new guilty pleasure. The Last Stand with Arnold. It's so bad, but everyone knows it and runs with it. It's so hilarious. The Last Stand with Arnold? Oh, yeah. Wasn't that on... That was on, like, Netflix a while ago. Yeah, or no, I'm making that up. I have a review for The Last Stand. I saw that back in 2012? Yeah, here's how I remember seeing The Last Stand. Here's a story for you. I remember I went to LA. Me and Stuckman and I went to LA for the U Reviewers back in 2012. That was the first time I met like Jeremy Johns, the Schmoes. And that movie was out at theaters. And Stuckman and me went to one of the theaters there and saw The Last Stand. I remember that, and then I came home and reviewed it. Yes, but that's the last time I ever watched that movie. I probably would never watch it again. I like me some Arnie. But isn't Johnny Knoxville also in that movie? It's not very good. But thanks for joining the live stream, Don. Hope you're doing well, man. Sean Rosen says, what is one of your most prized possessions and why? Either a certain movie, a prop, a replica, a signed item, etc. Also, my name is Morgan Freeman. So I have my I'll show you one of my most prized possessions. Let me grab it for you. Let me pull up my pants too. Okay. I remember when I got this. This is a YouTube play button. Congratulations for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. The Flick Pick. So this is pretty cool. And I remember when I started YouTube back in 2010, and it's been a while. And so, yeah, I remember when I got like my first 1,000 subscribers, I was like, holy shit, I never thought that happened. And then I remember when I got this just 3 years later, I was like, see, I don't take numbers for granted on YouTube. Some people have 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers. You know, I have like 300,000 on my Flick Pick channel and like 100,000 of you guys here on this channel. And I like those numbers to me, like sometimes people throw numbers around on YouTube. Think about 100,000 people. That's a lot of fucking people. Have you ever seen 100,000 people in one place? It's crazy to look at. So when you think to yourself, like 100,000 people took the time to look at my stupid face and click subscribe, that means a lot to me. So yeah, this would probably be the most like prized possession I have. That was the day I was like, okay, what I'm doing is working. I feel accomplished. To me, this was more valuable than my college degree and more useful. And it's panned out a little bit longer as well. And I'm not paying on this every month for no reason, like I am with my college student loans. But this, I would say this. Thank you for that question. Billy Gold, thanks for the super chat. Billy, no question, but thanks, Billy. If you have a question, man, chime in on the normal chat. I'll try to get to it. Night King 01 says, John, have you seen The Driver yet? Some more tidbits to hype you up. Walter Hill directed it. You might have seen his other small movie. I have not seen The Driver yet. It's like a 70s film that they kind of borrowed a lot of ideas and made Drive about. I have not seen it yet. I do want to see it, man. Is there anywhere I can watch The Driver that's streaming from the 70s? Let me know. James Dozier says, Do I have a favorite Cartoon Network show? I remember I really enjoyed The Oblongs for a minute. I was like, this is the most fucked up show I've ever seen in my life. The Oblongs. For a minute, I really enjoyed that show. That was on Cartoon Network, right? KR says, Hey, John, have you seen Arrow? If not, I would recommend it. I've not ever seen more than probably 1 or 2 episodes of Arrow. I think it has some good ideas. It just always feels underwhelming to me. I just never got something about the CW shows. Just never had that vibe I was looking for. Unfortunately. Don Bruno has another question here. My boy, John Flix, I know forever that you have a disdain for A Star is Born. I simply cannot fathom how that can be. It's Bradley Cooper's magnum opus. I would disagree. Lady Gaga put out a great acting performance, great music. You must be dead inside. I think I am dead inside. I just didn't like either of them. I thought they were both toxic people. I didn't relate to any of them. I wouldn't want to hang out with either of them. I just thought they were like boring people that were like in love. And I'm like, what do you guys see in each other? Where's the chemistry? I don't buy it. I bought nothing. And Bradley Cooper just felt like he was acting in that movie. Yeah, I'm a country singer, and look at me playing a cowboy. Like, I'm just like, I can't do it. Something about it really turned me off. I'm sorry. If you can like the movie, that's fine. I understand. I get that the acting was good, but once again, when you have a movie about people you just don't give a shit about, then you don't give a shit about the movie. So that's just my thing with it. Bingle Parton says, I hope to continue to see Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I think she's a great Harley Quinn, and I have no doubt they're going to keep putting her in movies. I mean, her merchandise sales really great at Hot Topic. So, I mean, I'm sure she'll be around for a while. I think that was a great casting choice. No problem there. I just wish they would utilize her a little bit differently in the future. Something better than Birds of Prey. Just JDD24 says, have you watched any of the videos where actors talk about the most iconic roles? I liked watching Nick Cage and Jake Gyllenhaal talk about their most iconic roles. Yeah, I think it's on GQ or something in the YouTube channel. Something like that. Yeah, I've watched the majority of them, actually. I think the last one I watched was with hoo-ha, motherfucker. How about I give you a pack of bubblegum and show you how to chew it? Was Al Pacino breaking down some of his most iconic roles. And I love the little tidbits they give on those movies and how it came to be. So yeah, I do watch that series. Fury Road is a classic, absolutely. I may or may not have a top 20 movies of all time new version coming out, and I actually did just write I finally concluded my top 20 movies of all time. And Fury Road might just be in there. All right, let's keep going. Mike W. says, hey, John, did you watch the new Val documentary on Amazon Prime about Val Kilmer's life and movies? Thought it was great, a little sad as well. Yeah, it's really unfortunate what he's going through health-wise. But yeah, I heard about that. I have not gotten around to watching it, but it definitely sounds like something I would be down to watch. I love like biography style breakdowns of people's lives and careers. So yeah, I do want to watch it. Thank you for reminding me, actually. Someone said Bubble Boy is a very underrated movie. I guess, yeah. John, did you take any film classes in school? I did not. I don't think my high school or college had any. But anytime I can learn anything about it, I always try to soak it up like a sponge. Chris says, LA is not a very good place to be right now, though. I'm not going to LA. I'm going to Orlando, Florida. I'm going to Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida, not LA. Joshua Garrison says you deserve so many more subscribers. Yeah, you know what? At the same time, I probably, had I been more consistent over the years and done a review on every big movie that's ever come out over the last 3 years, statistically speaking, I would probably have more. That's how it works. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade any of you for more. Like, that's just, I like the ones I have. I like the viewers and audience that I have on YouTube. I really do. Because you guys understand me. Do you have any vacations planned? Yeah, I guess it's sort of a vacation/work trip. I'm actually going to Universal Studios in the next day or two. Our gal says, John, what do you think about the rumors of CM Punk coming to AEW? We talked about that earlier. I've heard he's not coming back in a wrestling capacity, which is kind of underwhelming. I wish he would have returned at like WWE during like WrestleMania or something. But yeah, that's cool. I don't know why he wouldn't. Max Nugenbauer says, favorite Abrams movie is Mission Impossible 3. I would say my favorite Abrams movie is probably the first Star Trek flick, honestly. I really enjoy that. I love Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto in that movie as Spock and Kirk. I love that dynamic that they have. I thought they were both really cast well for that. So, yeah, I'd probably say that's my favorite J.J. Abrams movie, oddly enough. But Mission Impossible 3 to me is sort of a forgettable Mission Impossible movie, other than Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I'm gonna hurt her. I'm gonna hurt her bad.
Joshua Garrison says, what's your favorite energy drink? Right now, I'd say Reign. Cherry Limeade is probably one of my favorite energy drinks. I think it's really good. Final Draft says, what's some good music what are some good music biopics you recommend? Just saw Love and Mercy, a Beach Boys biopic, amazing look at mental health, and sick music too. Oh, I love me some Beach Boys, man. I'm trying to think of music biopics. I mean, I wouldn't say the new Freddie Mercury. What was that called? The Queen biopic, Freddie Mercury, whatever that was called. That was a very glossy PG version of his life. I thought that was really watered down. I'm trying to think of like another biopic, musically speaking. I don't know. The Doors. Here's a Val Kilmer movie for you. The Doors with Jim Morrison is like a biopic on his life. You might like that if you haven't seen it. Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes. Good God. I could not remember that. It's getting too late. Ray 2004. Someone said was really good. I think I've seen that. I'm trying to think of like another musical biopic. And I know, I know there's one. There's one on Tina Turner I remember watching with her abusive husband, which was a pretty good biopic. I vaguely remember. Rocket Man, was not a fan of Rocket Man. Sorry. Get Rich or Die Trying. I could be your best friend. Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing that in theaters actually. 8 Mile isn't really an exact biopic of Eminem's life, but there are some like inspirations. But I think 8 Mile is sort of like a good loosey-goosey biopic of Eminem, ever so slightly. I think that's a really well-made movie, actually. Straight Outta Compton, I thought was... Yeah, the thing about Straight Outta Compton, it sort of has the same issues as Bohemian Rhapsody, is it's definitely watered down. Because what's happening is, with these biopics, is... the artists are getting final say on these films. So whenever an artist has final say on their biopic, they're not going to make themselves look bad. Like, they're going to try to make everything look good, like they didn't really do much wrong. So you're missing out some very key elements of the story there sometimes. So that's the biggest detriment with biopics sometimes. La Bamba. Yeah, I do remember seeing that. That's a tragic ending. All right, let's go to the next one here. Yalen Martin says, "Hey John, it's Jalen Martin. Hey John, I'm having fun at a wedding." Well, I hope you are. I hate going to weddings. Now, I like to go to the wedding, not the ceremony, but the like after party, because usually they have really good food. Hopefully there's an open bar, but you get to eat and watch other people dance, and you always see like the one family member making an ass out of themselves. That's always really entertaining. But yeah, hope you're having fun, man. Jack Taylor says, favorite Bond aside from Daniel Craig, also favorite film pre-Craig. I would say one of my Selena, yes! Fuck yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Selena. That is probably one of my favorite biopics from the 90s with Jennifer Lopez, who was born to play the role of Selena. I like the movie Selena. I always have. That's a great biopic. And as a kid, I remember watching that back in like 1997 on HBO. And I was like, this is really good. I remember watching that movie like a couple of times. I always really enjoyed it. Selena's a really good biopic. Yes. Good pick there. I forgot that existed. So back to your question. I would say Roger Moore, probably. I like License to Kill. I think if I had to pick one Bond movie pre-Daniel Craig that I really enjoyed, it might be License to Kill. But I really do enjoy GoldenEye. From the mid-90s. But I would say License to Kill or GoldenEye, I'd say are my two like favorite pre-Daniel Craig. But Casino Royale is the ultimate Bond movie to me. Alex Carr says, what character of Mark Wahlberg's do you like more between Boogie Nights and The Departed? Those are my two favorite movies of his, but I won't make you do the Mark Wahlberg voice. Thank you. Well, with all that said, I've been thinking a lot about my name lately, Jack. Oh, yeah? Yeah, every time I close my eyes, I see these bright, shiny neon letters. So, yeah, I would say probably his character Dirk Diggler in Boogie Nights. I mean, he was born to play that role. He has like his character has like this naive wonderment like to the world in that movie, and I just love it. And something about his comedic approach in Boogie Nights, he's not trying to be funny. He just comes across like he is. Like, so yeah, I would definitely say his character Dirk Diggler in Boogie Nights is my favorite. Max Nugenbauer says Fury Road is overrated and dumb. Max, I disagree with everything you said. Your logic's flawed and slightly skewed. I love me some Fury Road. It's actually one movie I've actually started. I enjoyed Fury Road more like the second, third time I watched it than the first. Which is like, because the first time I watched it, I was like, I didn't know what to expect from this. It wasn't like what I thought it would be. But for some odd reason, every time I just want pure escapism, I watch that movie. Just JDD24 says, what is the most overrated 90s film? Now let's really think about this. Let's pick the most overrated 90s film. Now some people might say Titanic, and I'm going to disagree with that completely. I thought that was when you have a movie called Titanic, did it deliver? Yes, it did. So I'm going to disagree with that one right off the bat if someone says that. I'm trying to think of like overrated, because I feel like most movies get rated as they should. I'm trying to think of something that was truly like overrated that people like put on some kind of pedestal that should not be there. Someone said Titanic. I knew you would. I disagree. Forrest Gump is not overrated. Forrest Gump is a true classic that still stands the test of time. Go watch Forrest Gump right now. That movie looks like it could have been made 10 years ago. It looks great. Independence Day. See, I think Independence Day was a true testament of like a mid-1990s action blockbuster movie. It was everything it should be. Pulp Fiction, I disagree with that as well. I think these are all rated accurately. American Beauty, I would also disagree. Twister, I still enjoy Twister though. That's the weird thing about Twister. It still is like a good time today. Someone said Shawshank. Nah, someone said Space Jam. Yeah, I would agree with that actually, Space Jam. And I'll explain why. Even as a kid, I was like, I get it. I just didn't give a shit about basketball or like, I wasn't, and Space Jam came out at a time when I wasn't really like into Looney Tunes anymore. So like when it comes to like a kid's film, I never like Space Jam was not like the kid's movie for me when I was in second grade. So Blair Witch. Holy sh! Now that's an overrated 90s movie. What a piece of trash, okay? I'm sorry. There's no artistic value in Blair Witch. The opening scene where they're in the grocery store and they have the camera and they like do a close up into the marshmallows and they go marshmallows and they put the camera into the bag. I just wanted to shut the movie off there. I was like, I hope everyone dies in this forest that they're going to. Please, I hope it's a brutal death. So yes, we'll go with Blair Witch. There we go. All right. Gavorg Minstraskianian. I know I mispronounced that. I'm sorry, Gavorg. I'm sorry. But I like your name. Do you ever go to 4chan TV? I have a few times in the past. Like, you find some odd things when you start clicking around. And I don't actually know how to use it, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know how to, like, find anything on there. I just click around and hope for the best and try not to get scared. I've been there, like, a few times. Gabe K says, hey, John, did you see The Empty Man? Pretty good underseen horror picture. Yeah, I know it's streaming right now on some Amazon Prime. It's streaming on something, right? I have not seen it yet. I know Stuckman really enjoys it and praises it. I have not seen it yet. The trailers looked atrocious. Hopefully it just had really bad marketing and it is a great movie. So yeah, I do want to check it out though. I've heard decent things. Albert Aguilar says, what's the last movie that made you cry? We had that question earlier. The actual last movie that made me cry, I don't know. Sometimes when movies make me cry, like, I suppress that memory deep down inside. I'm trying to remember, like, the last movie that made me cry. I talked about a few movies that did make me cry, but the last one I saw that did make me cry, I don't know. I'm sure a tear trickled up somewhere. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, movies about, like, young kids dying before that sounds dark already, but I remember like The Boy in Striped Pajamas kind of put a lump in my throat. I was like, holy shit, that was dark. I'm trying to think, if you guys have some movies that made you cry, or like the last movie that you watched that made you cry, let me know and I'll discuss it. Source Code made me cry. Source Code didn't make me cry, but that's interesting. Your name here says Spinal Tap, best biopic satire ever. Yeah, yes, it's a satire biopic. I haven't seen Spinal Tap in a long time. But if you're into like glam rock from the 80s, definitely a good biopic to watch. Yeah, someone said The Last Jedi made them cry because it was so bad. I did have a tear trickle down my eye. Endgame? I'm not going to lie to you. At the very end of Endgame, when Tony sacrifices himself, at that point, I didn't cry. But the point where you kind of do get a little choked up is at the funeral scene. That is, like, you kind of get a little sad. Yes. I remember getting a little choked up there, yeah. Simon Birch, yeah, I remember crying like a little bitch as a kid when I watched Simon Birch. Gavorg says I pronounced his first name right. Good, I'm glad. I feel like I just said it wrong, though. Castaway always makes me cry. Why? Why does Castaway make you cry? He lived. Now, he lived, and he actually found himself. His life will probably get better. Joshua Garrison says, where does Tarantino rank on the all-time greatest directors? He's definitely in my top 10. Definitely in my top 10. That man can write a screenplay like no other. I just watched Django. I watched like 3 movies yesterday. That's what I did. And Django Unchained, I've watched that probably a good 20 times. And it just never gets old to me. So Tarantino's definitely in my top 10, personally. Ooh, someone said Forrest Gump made them cry. Yeah. Selena made someone cry. Okay. Marley and Me made someone cry. These are good picks. The Lion King, yes. Titanic made me cry. I remember watching Titanic and getting a little like, ooh, that's kind of sad. Yeah. Didn't make me cry, though. Don Bruno says, my boy Johnny Flicks, what is your favorite Jason Statham film and why? My name's Jason Statham. Favorite Jason Statham movie. I mean, Jason Statham movie or a movie with Jason Statham in it. That can be two different things. I think it's hard as Jason Statham has been in a lot of movies, but like the ones that he stars in, to say like I truly love them, I don't know. I think when he's in part of like an ensemble cast, I think those are some of the better movies he's been a part of. Like I really like The Italian Job with Jason Statham in it. There's one. And Mark Wahlberg. Sorry, trying to catch up on the okay, here we go. Just JDD24 says, speaking of musical biopics, have you watched The Runaways with Kristen Stewart and as Joan Jett? I have seen The Runaways. Cherry bomb. Me and my little brother used to do that to each other all the time. So yeah, I have seen The Runaways. I thought it was okay. I liked Michael Shannon in the movie. Yeah, it was. I think it was a good biopic for like that group at the time. Sure. And I definitely do think Kristen Stewart made a good Joan Jett, so I wouldn't say she's done much else that impressed me, but I thought she made a good Joan Jett. Michael Joyce says, I've always loved your channel, especially you and Stuckman's videos. Batman v Superman review by you guys was really great. It's too bad that Chris never reviewed the Ultimate Edition. Yeah, I do remember reviewing the Ultimate Edition and just like not loving the movie as much as some people thought I would. But yeah, it was always fun doing collab videos, man. Not gonna lie. I like doing collab videos. I like when other people were in my videos. I love conversational videos. But yeah, thanks for that, Michael. It does mean a lot, man. Thank you. Billy McMichael says, oh, by the way, I remember making the Batman v Superman collab video with Stuckman. I do remember it. I remember us drinking like Mike's Hard Lemonades. And to get Stuckman to drink is always like twisting his arm a little bit. So I got him to drink a Mike's Hard Lemonade for that video. All right. The next one comes from Billy McMichael. I did see your Halloween 2018 review. You basically took a dump on it. To me, you were being too nice. Also, check out Lake Mungo. Very cool movie. Yeah, maybe I came across like I was too nice. Maybe I did. Let me tell you a trick about YouTube. Sometimes if you come across overly aggressive on certain movies where they have a built-in fan base, those people will get very angry in your video. But if you come across with a smile on your face and you say everything you want to say, but in a positive tone, then people go, oh, okay. It's like a weird trick you can do on YouTube. So like I could say this is the worst movie ever, but if I do it with a positive attitude, no one gets mad. Billy McMichael says, I did see... Oh, I already answered that. I'm so stupid. All right, Landon Thompson says, did you watch Pixar's Luca? Thought it was great. I have not. But by the way, you guys can get the Steelbook exclusively of Luca at Best Buy right now. Yeah, they sent me this. I haven't watched it. I have the Steelbook. I'm kind of savoring the flavor. I do want to watch it. I've heard it's good, but not great. Like something about Pixar lately, like they still make good movies, but they just don't make like the iconic classics like they sort of used to. Maybe I'm biased. I just want like the first Incredibles or like Toy Story again. But yeah, I do want to watch this. I do want to watch the new Luca Pixar film. The Steelbook's really sick. I like the Steelbook though. Mike W says, favorite John Candy movie, Gone Too Soon. Absolutely. Dude, John Candy was one of those guys that just, he felt genuine. He felt like a nice guy who was just funny. And he didn't have to try hard to be funny. He just was. So I would say a few of my favorite John Candy movies. I would say my overall favorite, and I think it was one of John Candy's like best performances that he had. He got to like have sort of a little bit dramatic, but also comedic element, was definitely Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin. Mike W says, I keep answering the same question. Daniel Coolio. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? Hey, John, are people less, can I read the light? So people are, John, can you read? The answer is no, I cannot. Hey, John, are people less noisy in movie theaters in the post-apocalyptic times we're living in now? Leave the fuel and I'll spare your popcorn. Yeah. No, I would say they're not. And let me tell you about one of the worst movie theater experiences I've had since the world turned upside down in the last couple of years. And I went to the press screening of this movie right here, A Quiet Place 2. Now, the press screening for this film was anything but quiet. And let me further explain. So at press screenings, they usually have press members there and you have like a reserved seat. Really cool. I like it. And then they have like general audiences who go to these movies. And essentially, to some people, this is just a free movie ticket. They don't give a shit. These are the weirdest, most obnoxious people who don't give a shit. They have no film etiquette, no theater etiquette. So anyway, I go into the theater and beside me is a lady on her phone who has the brightness turned up to 187%. And she kept checking Facebook every 3 seconds right before the movie started. And I was like, this is no good. I got to move. So I moved seats across the theater. The people beside me, and I shit you not, they brought some fast food. Not only did they bring fast food, they put it into like a Walmart plastic baggie. So every time they reached in to grab their food, they're crunching the baggie, making noise every 3 seconds. And like, I get it. Okay. Like a few times I get it throughout the entire movie. Just making noise. Just da 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 da. I don't give a fuck about anyone. I'll just keep making noise. So yeah, that's why sometimes watching movies at home on a streaming service, I don't mind. That's why. So anyway, let's keep going here. And thank you for the question. Dark Moonlight Entertainment. Who is worse? Zack Snyder or J.J. Abrams? I'd say Zack Snyder. I'm sorry. I know people like the Snyder Cut, and I think it was a better version of the Justice League, but I think overall when it comes to a filmography, I would put more faith in J.J. Abrams. Because here's why. The new Zack Snyder movie, any momentum Zack Snyder had with like the Snyder Cut, I thought was sort of dwindled away with Army of the Dead. Did that feel like a real movie to anyone? I didn't think it felt like a real movie. I was not a big fan of it. Derek Hackett says, loved your review of the Suicide Squad. James Gunn was the right choice, but was it better than Guardians of the Galaxy? No, I would say Guardians of the Galaxy is a better movie than Suicide Squad. I really do. I think from a screenplay, from a pacing standpoint, from like a heartfelt character moments, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a better movie. I mean, I think like Yondu is a great character. You know, I think I liked Yondu in Guardians more than I probably like 80% of the characters in like the new Suicide Squad. Like, not to give me, like I said, I like King Shark. I like Peacemaker. I liked Idris Elba as Bloodsport. But like, I think like I like characters like Yondu a bit more. I like Drax, you know, I like that entire group. I just thought as a group, it felt more conclusive and like a little bit more fulfilling as a movie. The only thing I don't like in the first Guardians movie is like the dance off scene at the end. That's really it. Okay. By the way, if you guys are YouTube members, chime in, put some questions in here. I'll try to get to as many as I can. I got Amaria in here. How's it going, Amaria? Chris is in here. Do you live in a studio flat now, John? No, I live in a house. I'm just in a big room right now. Army of the Dead was just awful, straight trash. Yeah, you know, I can't say it wasn't. I didn't think it felt like a real movie. Like, I was like, this is not a real movie. This is like the worst screenplay I've ever seen come to fruition. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how do you make a movie where you have like a mercenary crew of people going to pull off a heist during a zombie apocalypse? How do you make it this boring? How do you do it? I don't know. It doesn't need to be this convoluted either. Furious 7 because of the ending. Speaking of Hagulera says, yeah, going back to like sad scenes. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, the ending of Furious 7 definitely pulled on the heartstrings. Mike's Hard Lemonade is good. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I agree. Mike's Hard. I like lady drinks. Actually, I'm not even gonna call Mike's Hard Lemonade a ladies drink. I just call it a manly, tasty drink. That's what I call it. Chris Farley was gone too soon. Yeah, I agree with that as well. That was really sad. Like, I would have loved to have seen what Chris Farley did over like the next 10 years after that. Obed Arzaga says, the most sad movie is Lovely Bones. I can't rewatch it. Lovely Bones is definitely one of those movies you don't want to rewatch again. It's just like, it's like, it's too nasty. It's just like, how can you willingly like want to watch that? It's like reading a news article about something terrible that happened to a child. You're like, and then watching a movie, it's just like, who would, I don't know. How can you like purposely like want to rewatch it? It's just like, takes too much out of you. Joshua Garrison says, what's your favorite movie of the year so far? I'd say Quiet Place 2 is definitely up there. I don't really have a favorite movie thus far. I really don't. I don't have a favorite movie. I mean, Suicide Squad could probably be, in the top 10, but it would be like number 10. I don't really have a favorite movie thus far this year, but there's a few movies I haven't seen yet, so I do want to check them out. What's my design? Are you still with, or SMH Design says, are you still with Amber? No, I'm not with Amber. I've talked about that every live stream. Where have you been? Claudia Rogajon says, one thing about DC I don't like is they waste a lot of their time with other characters that aren't A-listers, and then they never use them again. Yeah, you mean like the whole opening scene to Suicide Squad? I get what you're saying, though. Sometimes it's okay just to have fun with certain characters that you'll probably never see again in live action, but they take their time to like, oh, here's this character. We'll never use them again, but they get their moment to shine kind of thing. Yeah, but I do get what you're saying. The world building of DC is not the best. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer all of the questions left right now. So please, if you guys have questions, don't ask any more questions right now. I'm going to answer everything I can starting now. So if you have more questions, no more questions. Okay. But not to say I'm not going to answer everything left over. So however long that takes, we'll stick around. Joshua Garrison says, have you seen Eli Roth's Finn documentary? I heard him talk about it on Jericho's podcast. I'd like to listen to that podcast, actually. No, I have not, though. Johnny Carr says, John just bought the director's cut of The Outsiders after not seeing it for 10 years. Have you seen it, and what did you think about it? The Outsiders? I love The Outsiders, man. Oh, I love that movie. With Patrick Swayze, what an ensemble cast. I hope we're talking about the same movie. I love The Outsiders with the Karate Kid in it, Pony Boy, Stay Golden Pony Boy. I'm trying to think if I've seen the director's cut. I'm sure I have. I think that's the only version I have seen. I've always loved that. I actually read the book to that. I think the movie's better than the book, just my opinion. But yeah, I've always loved that movie. I love that. Yeah. It's got Matt Dillon in it. Good stuff. Guy from Kings Highway. I super chat every weekend. I'm hitting a bong right now. Do you recognize my user? Yeah, man, I always remember your username. I asked the pooped yourself question last Saturday. I do remember the pooped yourself question. And I remember a lot of the usernames from you guys. I do. Like 98% of them I do remember. Even if I mispronounce them, I still remember. Johnny Carr says, John, I had fun at my usher job, but eventually need to move on. Should I quit my job or just stop going like you said? Yeah, I don't usually quit jobs. I just stop going. That's the best advice I can give you. Just see how you got to push the limits. See what you can get away with. So yeah, just stop going, man. Or what you could do is you could keep the usher job, go into work, clock in, just go sit in a movie for like 4 hours or however long your shift is, and then clock back out and leave. You have nothing to lose. You probably don't want to take my advice, but that is my advice. The next one comes from Don Bruno. What sequel that was never made would you make and why? Ooh, shit. A sequel that was never made. I would love to make a sequel to Nightcrawler 2014. I would actually like to make a Netflix miniseries to it. That's what I would like. Maybe, but I would like to make the film sequel as well. Also, another sequel to a movie I would like to see. I always wanted to see a good third Terminator movie. That never happened. But probably Nightcrawler. If I know for years they've been mentioning like we're gonna get a Gladiator sequel. That would be kind of cool because I think there's more you can tell. Even though Russell Crowe's character Maximus Decimus Meridius is dead, I think you could tell. So like I just love epic time period movies set in ancient Rome, so that would be cool to me. I think there's something they could do there. Dread 2 with Carl Urban would be a good sequel. Yeah. Those are a few. Let's see. The next one comes from Claudia Rogajon says, one thing about DC I don't like. Oh, I already answered that. What is this? Achilles Hoplite? Achilles Hoplite? Explain why you move every year. People hate moving. Oh, I don't like it. I just do it. Life takes me in weird directions. A few of them were based on relationships. Because they were moving, I had the flexibility to do so. I was like, I can move. Why not? I'm always down for an adventure. That was a few of the reasons. A few times I moved, I knew it would not be permanent. I just knew it wasn't going to be permanent. So I moved and I knew it would last a year just because the way life was. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll check it out for a year and then move somewhere else I want to. I don't know. The thing is, I sort of liked it. I use it as like an excuse to go different places and see different people kind of thing. Now, I am getting tired of moving. I really am. So yeah, that's why I moved so many times. That's the way life took me, you know? If you stay still, you die, or life passes you by. That's how I look at it. Terminator 3 is the best one not directed by James Cameron. Is it, though? I mean, think about the villain of Terminator 3. Really think about it. You think that's a good movie? I think it's a really underwhelming Terminator movie. I actually enjoy Terminator Salvation more than Terminator 3. And neither of them are great. I just enjoy it. At least they're like in the future, you know? Let's go to the next one here. Max Nugenbauer says, Battlefield Earth has the worst script ever. Well, yeah. Yes. I mean, I could name 14 other John Travolta movies that probably have the worst script ever as well. One being Gotti. The other one being, what was the one where he's a race car driver? Oh my God, I forget the name of it. But anyway, yeah, yes. I can't argue that. Derek Hackett says, what's your go-to breakfast for when you want something healthy but also satisfying? Usually like a good breakfast burrito. I get this thing from this, it's like a gas station / restaurant. It's called Elmo's, and they have like breakfast burritos, and it's called a Southwest breakfast burrito. And it's pretty good. Like if you just get it without like some of the sauce in there, it's pretty healthy. It's got like veggies, eggs, protein. It's got some ham in there. It's a solid breakfast choice. Now, if you want to get super healthy, I guess you could eat egg whites and turkey bacon if you wanted to, or something along those lines with a little bit of oatmeal in the morning. Put a scoop of protein powder in there. That's a pretty healthy breakfast. All right, the next one comes from MKF30. Salvation was interesting. Take on the evolution of Terminators was cool. Yeah, definitely not. I mean, the weakest element of Terminator Salvation was definitely the entire story relating to Sam Worthington and his character and his acting ability. But outside of that, Christian Bale was great. Claudia Rogan says, most pointless sequel ever. Speed fucking 2. Independence Day Resurgence. Oh, shit. Those are easily the 2 worst sequels ever. Oh, yeah, Edge of Tomorrow 2 would be a good sequel. Yeah, why haven't we gotten that? Why did we get, like, Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt, which was a terrible movie, but we don't have Live, Die, Repeat Part 2? Or Edge of Tomorrow 2, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's bizarre to me. Thoughts on The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin. I love me some Good Son. I saw that in theaters, and I always loved that movie. I had a friend. Now, hear me out. I had a friend that was just like The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin. This kid was fucked up. He was fucked up. And I remember one time he literally wanted to take dummies and drop them off an overpass into traffic. He wanted to do that. I was like, dude, I don't have the time or the craftsmanship to make a dummy. Yeah, so anyway, I love The Good Son with Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin. That's a great movie. If you haven't seen The Good Son, that's a great movie. Go check that out. Outside of, like, Home Alone, I think that's Macaulay Culkin's, like, best movie. Oh, you guys just asked 25 more questions. Okay. Please, guys, no more questions. No more questions. I have to actually, like, start packing because I leave in 5 hours. Explosive Action says, I thought it was going to be like explosive diarrhea. Anyway, favorite Australian film that's not Mad Max. It's definitely not Wolf Creek. I'm trying to think of an Australian. I mean, there's a lot of films like produced and made in Australia, but Australian film. I'm trying to think of something besides Mad Max. I don't name a few actual Australian films. I'm trying to think. It's not Australia with Hugh Jackman either. That wasn't. I'm trying to think. Crocodile Dundee. I never was a fan of Crocodile Dundee. I'm like, I get that you're from the outback and you're like sort of a fish out of water, but like you're not a time traveler from the 1500s. Like, you know what a building is. You know what electricity is. Like, it's not that crazy. Like, it just felt so forced. How many days are you spending in Florida from Chris? Just 2. Kangaroo Jack. Oh, geez, man. All right, let's keep going here. Night King 01 says, well, The Driver is not on a streaming service anywhere. Shame that Walter Hill's other movie, The Warriors, is, but this isn't. Yeah, I like me some Walter Hill. I love The Warriors. That man had a way of making gritty films, especially in the 70s. I love The Warriors. That used to be my top 20 of all time. It could probably be my top like 50 of all time now, but Warriors come out to play. I'll never do that again. Claudia Rogojan says, Snyder Cut was above average team-up movie, which was better than the original version, but come on, it's not really godly like some people say. I don't think it's godly by any means. I just think it's a better version of the previous movie, which was all I wanted to see. That's all I wanted to see. And was it better? Yes. Do I think it's overly long for the sake of being long? Yes. Claudia Rogojan says, I already answered that. Rich the Savior says, John, it doesn't seem like you travel much. Is there any place you'd still like to go and see before you're old and crusty? What do you mean? I've been tons of places, man. What do you mean travel? Let me tell you something about traveling. Sometimes it's just not worth it to me. Any bit of pleasure I get from traveling is not worth the hassle of getting there. Let me explain. When I booked these tickets to go to Orlando, somehow, some way, the wrong dates got booked. So I had to call and spend 3 hours on a phone to rebook the right tickets and get a refund, which I don't even know if I'm getting the refund. Then I had to call like 5 hotels. The customer service is terrible. Then you got to get on a plane. You got to be around all these people sneezing and coughing in your face the whole time. You sit uncomfortably in a plane for 3 hours. Then you get to another airport where you have to transfer flights. It's so dirty and filthy. Then you're uncomfortable. Then you might like... it just is so much work to get where you're going. Now, if I could push a button and magically teleport there or take like a DeLorean, absolutely, I will go anywhere you want me to. It's just the process of getting there. It's just like, Jesus. But I'm one of those guys. I enjoy the simple things in life, you know? I don't know. What was the question? Oh, yeah, the only place I really want to go that I haven't been, maybe like the Great Wall of China, the pyramids, and like the Roman Colosseum. Those are 3 things on my bucket list I would like to see. I just think those are really cool, like, achievements by humanity I would like to see in person one day. Really, that's it. Like, but anywhere else, like, oh, I want to go to Florida, you know, even though I am. I don't know. Like, that, I don't know. That doesn't really entice me that much. Oh, hi, Mark. Thoughts on School Ties with Brendan Fraser? It's a guilty pleasure for me. I can watch it over and over. School Ties. I might have seen that. Maybe I have. I'm trying to think of the film with Brendan Fraser where he plays like why does Brendan Fraser always play like a rich, uppity, like suburban kid? But anyway, he was in a film. What was the movie with him? And he finds out like he does like a report, or he meets like Robin Williams' character who's like homeless. And then he learns his life story. What movie was that? Hagulera says, one movie I refuse to watch is The Girl Next Door from 2007. Just too messed up. I hate it. The Girl Next Door from 2007. The Girl Next Door is 2004, right? With Emil Hirsch? Or are we thinking about 2 different movies? The Girl Next Door 2000. The Girl Next Door 2000. I'm pretty sure that's 2004. I could be wrong here. Oh, it is a 2007 film. What the? Oh, American Horror Film. Yeah, I've never seen this. And I never will. Okay. So same title, different movie, completely different movie. I was gonna say the girl next door, the comedy movies, like I love that. Okay, guys. Let's see. A juicy John rant. Yes, please. I love it. What did I give you a rant on traveling? Was that the rant? I don't know. But thanks for the question, Rich the Savior. Let's see. Be safe on your trip from Josh. Thanks, Josh. I will. Yeah, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up here. I do have to pack and get ready. I do leave in like... I have to be at the airport in like 4.5 hours, which sounds completely awful. But who needs sleep? That's for the weak and the innocent, not for us. But as always, guys, I always trigger John. You do trigger me. Absolutely, Josh. But that's what I like about you. So as always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. The questions, just hanging out with a few hours, hanging out with me for a few hours. I can put sentences together. T600 Tiny Todd says, hey, John, why couldn't you put the bunny in the box? I only trust 2 people in this world. One of them is my daddy, and the other one's dead. You're right. Why couldn't I just put the bunny back in the box? You're right. I don't know. Because I'm Cyrus the Virus. That's why. So anyway, guys, thank you for the question. T600 Tiny Todd, the greatest name ever. So as always, guys, stay safe. Have a good night. Thanks for joining me. I do appreciate the questions, and just... I hope you guys were eating popcorn as we did this to make it more enjoyable. But I will do another live stream when I get back from Universal Studios. I'll probably do a few, like... I don't know, Instagram videos. I probably will make a vlog video while in Universal. But anyway, as always, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, I'll see you next time. So make sure you subscribe. Is that what I usually say? I think so. All right. See you guys. Bye.